All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are diving headfirst into one of the most heated debates of our time, cancel culture. Is it a real force for change, a genuine threat to free speech, or maybe just a myth that's been blown way out of proportion? Well, that's what we're here to find out. So let's set this stage here. This whole conversation has escalated way beyond a simple disagreement. It's become a full-blown culture war, a real battleground where our most fundamental values are clashing. You've basically got two camps that see this in completely opposite ways. On one side, you have people who say cancel culture is basically a modern-day witch hunt. They see it as a terrifying new form of mob justice that silences dissent, gets people fired, and just creates this climate of fear where no one feels safe to speak their mind. But then on the other side, you've got folks who see it as a desperately needed tool for accountability. For them, this is about marginalized groups finally having the power to speak up, to call out bad behavior, and to hold powerful people accountable. Think about the impact of something like the #MeToo movement. So where does that leave us? I mean, which one is it? Is this all just a phantom menace cooked up for political reasons, or is it a real and powerful social force? To get a real answer, we've got to tune out the noise and actually look at what the evidence says. Okay, first things first. Before we can analyze anything, we need to be on the same page about what we even mean by cancel culture. For this, we're going to lean on a really solid scientific definition from a 2021 research paper. This is going to be our guide for this entire explainer. So, according to this research, we're not just talking about any old criticism. Cancel culture refers to organized collective strategies. The goal is to use social pressure to basically isolate a target, a person, a company, whatever, because of something they've said or done. This is the framework we're using. It's not about taking sides, it's about understanding a very specific phenomenon. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. The study proposes this fascinating idea for why some people feel the sting of cancel culture so intensely, while others don't feel it at all. It's called the congruence theory, but honestly, a much better way to think about it is the fish out of water theory. And the core idea is actually pretty simple. You are most likely to feel silenced when your own personal values don't match the dominant culture of the group you're in. It's that classic feeling of being the odd one out, the one who just doesn't quite fit in. Okay, check this out, because this table really lays it all out. If you're a conservative person in a space with a mostly liberal culture, say a university campus, that's a mismatch. You're more likely to feel silenced. But look, the exact same thing happens in reverse. If you're a liberal person in a mostly conservative culture, you also feel that mismatch. You feel silenced. So the key takeaway here is that this feeling isn't about being liberal or conservative. It's about being in the ideological minority. So that's the theory. It sounds pretty compelling, right? But does it actually hold up in the real world? Well, to test it, researchers dug into this huge global survey of almost 2,500 political scientists from all over the world. And the results from the United States? They're pretty striking. In the world of American academia, where the culture tends to be predominantly liberal, the theory holds up perfectly. Right-leaning scholars, our fish out of water in this case, are way more likely to say that the climate for open discussion has gotten worse. They feel that social pressure. But here's the million-dollar question. Is this just what happens in Western countries, or does this pattern hold true everywhere? What happens when we zoom out and look at a society with a totally different dominant culture? This is where the whole story really clicks into place. And would you look at that? When we look at the data from Nigeria, where the academic culture is generally more socially conservative, the whole thing flips on its head. Here, it's the left-leaning scholars who are now the fish out of water, and they are the ones more likely to report a worsening climate. It's amazing. The feeling of being silenced follows the mismatch, not the ideology itself. So let's just pull all of this together. What's the bottom line? Well, first, the perception of cancel culture is absolutely a real thing. It's not just a myth people made up. But, and this is the crucial part, its reality is totally contextual. That feeling of being silenced is driven by that fish out of water experience. And who feels that way depends completely on who's in the majority in their specific environment. And that leaves us with a really big, kind of challenging question to think about. This research suggests that our feeling of being free to speak isn't some universal constant. It's often tied to whether or not our views happen to line up with the majority around us. So, if our sense of freedom is that dependent on who's in charge, what does that really mean for the future of healthy, open debate in any society? Something to chew on.